Continuing with the outline in today's video, I want to speak about dreams. I've split this channel and this series of videos in three parts, three segments. One is the main outline where I've been speaking about Jesus and how I believe that he was speaking about consciousness. The whole thing about the outline, a rational divine outline, has to do with consciousness, with the afterlife, with what people used to think of as the unknown, as divinity, as angels, as whatever. Where today, with today's data, with today's research, we can ground it a little bit and have a more pragmatic definition and understanding of these topics, which might be just a part of reality at large. So in today's video, I want to go with the series regarding pragmatic philosophy. I do believe that we need to have a pragmatic philosophy that is based on data and the current research, given that if philosophical posture comes up, it's not like it used to be before. Science can rebuke any idea, so we must work with science and philosophy in order to wrap these ideas, because science does not have the answers. So philosophy can aid science in these aspects, but we must be very careful with our postulations. For anyone who has been following this channel, I apologize for not uploading videos in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Sometimes life gets in the way and it's hard for me to upload videos, but I'm gonna still try to keep one video per week, as I will continue this project probably until I am no more. As I mentioned in today's video, I want to speak about dreams, but more specifically about who are the people in our dreams, who are these beings and these characters that we speak of, that we speak to in our dreams. We can have full-fledged conversations with these people, or we may have certain interactions. Are they a part of our own minds? Are they multiplicities of our own consciousness, or are they something else? Before I move forward, I would like to remind you that if you want to join the growing discussion on consciousness and would like to be notified on the latest scientific discoveries and theories surrounding this topic and how they connect to ancient mythologies and philosophies, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, as I'll try to upload at least one video per week as I continue with the outline. As I mentioned, we have a lot of theories coming forward regarding consciousness. These are based on some of the modern data that we have, mainly from altered states of consciousness, from people reporting near-death experiences, where they meet beings, or they meet consciousness, non-corporeal consciousness, or non-human intelligences, as they are called as well. Through the use of entheogens as well. People report going into different frames of reality where they meet quote-unquote beings who seem to have their own consciousness, who are separate from themselves. But all of these reports can be confused with quote-unquote hallucinations, with things that happen in a person's own mind, just related to schizophrenia, just conjurations of people or altered consciousness, or multiple consciousness, multiple personalities that people may have. So there's this debate going on in the topic of altered states of consciousness. Are these beings that people are meeting and reporting about outside their own mind, or are they part of them? A lot of skeptics use the argument that these are multiple personalities of people that they conjure up in their hallucinations. But the problem comes up where a lot of the reports have repeating beings coming on these experiences, who are the same being, like the Joker, or like the Purple Lady, or beings that are archetypes that everybody is experiencing. So this opens a ton of questions, whether we share this mind, or we share this frame of reality that we go into on these altered states of consciousness, or what's going on. It opens up a lot of questions. Even if we don't accept any of the theories, we don't accept that they are hallucinations, but we don't accept that they are individual consciousness. We don't know where we are. But what this would suggest is that even if they are conjurations of our own mind, this would suggest that we share this mind, as we are seeing the same entities, as people who are going through near-death experiences are meeting these quote-unquote beings who are explaining them what's going on and who are helping them with their quote-unquote life review. So even if these are conjurations of our own quote-unquote mind, it means that we share this mind. Just like Jung said, this collective subconscious mind. As the research continues into these frames of reality based on antigens and on near-death experiences, some other topics, some other frames of reality that we can study are out-of-body experiences, astral traveling, how it's called, lucid dreaming, or dreams themselves, which is where I started wondering, because lately I've been having a journal about my own dreams, because I've been wanting to understand more. And every time I wake up and I can't remember bits and pieces of my dreams, I write things like, what was the physicality? What did I feel? What emotions did I have? And based on the research that I've been doing, I've been finding things in my dreams that are quite peculiar. Things like the levels of physicality, the feelings that I have a body, the feelings that I can interact with my surroundings and touch things and feel the weight of the things that I'm grabbing with my hands in my dreams. These are things that have made me wonder a lot of things based on the research in these near-death experiences and on these other altered states of consciousness. One thing that has given me a lot of questions and a lot of wonder is the fact that in these altered states of consciousness, people report that they are in a frame of reality where they are everywhere. They're not local, they're not in their bodies. And I've been having these dreams where any part of my surroundings, I can focus on it and I can literally go in it. Go in and see the details of an object or a person or whatever at the moment that I think about it. Like if I was not really a body. I might expand on this in the future, but the thing that has troubled me the most is who are the people that I've been speaking to in my dreams. Now, in the reports of altered states of consciousness, for example, near-death experiences, people report seeing their loved ones and having conversations with them, but I'm not really sure if they are really seeing their loved ones, because the conversations that they have are usually generic or usually having to do with them not being ready or not being or having to go back to the mortal realms. Tom Campbell, who is an author on consciousness, he used to be a NASA scientist, and he's one of the most he has one of the most interesting theories that I've read regarding consciousness. His book is called My Big Theory of Everything, My Big Toe. And in there he speaks about very complicated and complex things about consciousness. It seems that he has gained a level of understanding that very few of us can barely grasp. But in one of his theories suggests that when people are seeing this, their family, and so on and so forth, well, yes, they are their family, they are their loved ones. But the exact nature of the other side is a bit more complex than we might think. Yes, they are them, but they are not. They are, in a way, avatars of consciousness, avatars of the data of the people who were their parents or who were their loved ones. As he says, would it make sense for them to wait for the people whenever they're gonna die, if there's no time there, why are they looking like they are young? A lot of people in near-death experiences report these family members as them being young and in their best health, even though when their grandparents died, that they were 80 or 100 years old. When they meet them in these reunions, they are young, and he asks, well, were they just waiting for you? Were they just sitting on a cloud playing an instrument? No, it seems to be that consciousness is a big database, it's a big matrix, a big hologram where it uses anything it needs to communicate to you. What exactly does consciousness want to communicate to you? Well, if we go through near-death experiences, we can see that it communicates that you do not need to worry about anything. You gain a lot of these information downloads, as they call it. They understand that there's no death, that they understand different things, that as they say, love is everything that exists and everything that is important, and it varies in levels of depth, but mostly it's a comforting scene, it's a comforting experience where, as I've said, it seems to be some sort of hologram, some sort of dream, some sort of bardo, some sort of realm where people are being comforted by, call it consciousness, call it whatever you want. They've been comforted, and they whatever it is that we're speaking about, it uses anything it needs for the person at the moment. It uses their family. It uses Jesus. There's a big and a huge debate in the near-death experience forums, debating the religious themes. Is it Jesus? I saw Jesus. Everybody sees Jesus. But then some people see Buddha. And some people see cardboard characters or cartoons. It's the subconscious mind generating anything you need. Some people don't see anything. Some people just feel or just see light. It seems to be a bit more complex than we might think. As I said, what led me to think about this recently, it has been a series of dreams that I've been having. In one specific dream, I met people in my life that I've met before. It was I used to practice martial arts, and I was with a team, with a group of people, and I haven't seen them in more than 5 or 6 years. And somehow in my dream, I met all of them. I met the owner of the gym. I met the lead trainer of martial arts. I met all of them. And I was having such comfortable conversations and such dynamic conversations where they would be trying to make me feel good, to make me feel comfortable. And martial arts is something that I personally been wanting to do again in my life. But I haven't found the way to do it in my current situation. So in this dream, these individuals, which were the same people that I met, started to telling me things that made me comfortable, that made me happy, and the whole purpose of the dream, as I realized, was to understand that in the future I will have the same opportunity to have what I used to have with them before. But that made me wonder, are these people somehow the people that I met, and they are having different aspects of themselves, or are they part of my own mind? Are they part of my own subconscious trying to comfort me? I think it's the latter. I think it's part of my own subconscious. But what strikes me is the depth of the conversations and the ability of my subconscious mind to create these characters in my mind and to have all these interesting and in-depth conversations. I mean, in this dream, I talked to them about prices, about their current gym, about their current situation, and whether or not I was allowed to go back to training with them. And things were very specific, things that I couldn't come up with if I want to make myself clear, and that that really impressed me. Is it me that I have the possibility to come up with all these things, or is it something else? In a different dream, which I cannot recall completely, because I do remember the last scene of the dream, where I was in some sort of a porch of a house, and but I do remember there was a narrative before this scene. There was a story. There was, which is also interesting, that how our dreams have these narratives, and in this part of the dream, I was with a woman which she wanted to embrace me. She wanted me to feel comfortable. It wasn't overly sexual in nature or anything like that, but I did feel an intense love, an intense feeling of embracing and of kissing and so on and so forth. But what struck me as very interesting was that it wasn't a very physical experience. I didn't really make out the shapes of her face or the shapes of her body. It was a semi physical experience, but I did feel the emotions and I feel the touch and I felt the embrace somehow. And then in an odd shift of circumstances, someone spotted us, and she felt ashamed, and I could feel her shame. It wasn't an overwhelming shame; it was just a little bit of shame. And then she turned into a cat, and she disappeared. But what strikes me interesting about this dream was that I recognized her essence. She was someone that I met previously in my life. She was someone that I met years and years ago. I knew it was her somehow. So again, was it really a part of her, or was this a conjuration of my own subconscious mind? Was I storing the data of who she was? How did I know it was her? And this has happened to me in different dreams where I understand who the people that I interact with are. And I can tell who they are, even though the dreams are sort of blurry or not really physical. I understand their essences. So am I conjuring this up? How did I know these things? Mostly, all of these dreams seem to have a purpose, and it is for me to understand something about the specific part of my life, of the specific struggle that I am in at the moment. Or sometimes these dreams are just to make me feel comfortable, which I find interesting as well, as we see these altered states of consciousness where people either deal with trauma or are made to feel comfortable, especially in near-death experiences where this is what they need at that moment, this sense of comfort. But you know, I've also had these dreams where it's the other way around. There was one specific dream where I would see my childhood friends, people that I haven't seen in maybe 10 years, and somehow they were enraged at me. They wanted to beat me up. They wanted to kill me. And I didn't understand that dream a lot. I think that I was maybe angry at myself or something. But at the same time, I was having conversations with them. They were screaming at me and they were telling me things. And I woke up and I wanted to figure out what was happening. What I did that made them so mad. And who were they really? Was that also a conjuration of my own mind? What was going on? So all of this is the purpose of me speaking about these experiences and these dreams is to try to understand what are we speaking about when we go into our dreams. Who are these people? Is it part of our subconscious mind? Is it a bardo, as they call it? The Buddhists, they think that the dream state is a bardo. It's some sort of realm. But is this realm something within our mind, or is it connected perhaps to something else? As some of the theories of consciousness suggest, they suggest that everything is actually connected. So how did I come up with these narratives? How did I come up with these conversations that were very in-depth? As I said, sometimes I conjure people from alive, and sometimes I conjure celebrities where I'm having conversations with them. and very detailed conversations, things that I have not stored in my mind and probably maybe in my subconscious mind, but not likely. These are very dynamic experiences, very dynamic narratives where they respond to me in a very natural way. Some of the recent studies on entheogens, which I will address in the future, suggest that when people are going through this entheogen experience, this is DMT, psilocybin, etc., they go into the same brainwaves as we go through the REM state, dream state, the rapid eye movement state where we have dreams. This is brainwaves which actually lead us into this place. Now, if we think what some of the people are suggesting, that reality is actually divided in frames or vibrations or realms, to put it in a way, is where we go into these realms where we are connected with everything else. This is where people see the beings, where people see these non-human intelligences. Probably what happens as well in near-death experiences. But the interesting thing about near-death experience is that there is no brain activity, as opposed to where we are dreaming or we're going through entheogen experiences. There is brain activity, but the brain activity and the brain waves are in these delta and theta frame set, which is related to the dream states, both on entheogens and through the actual REM cycle. People who go through near-death experiences also report that when they go through their live reviews, they see images that they relieve, like 3D clips of the instances where they had interactions with other people, and they could feel the feelings of other people as if they were these other people. And they can, whenever they go out of their bodies right after the time where they actually die, allegedly, they can go around what's happening outside their body, what the doctors are feeling. They explain this. They can feel what the doctors are feeling, what they are thinking. They can go into another room where people are praying for them or mourning them or thinking about them, and they can feel what the other people are thinking or feeling. So what all of these would suggest is that consciousness is not local. It's all connected somehow. And this locality is the illusion that we are all part of the same. And this is what some of the people are coming as a conclusion from near-death experience, is that we are all the same. There's just one of us. So when we go into these dreams, are we gathering data? Are we gathering these information from this one source that has everything? How is it that near-death experiences can see can relieve clips of previous instances trapped in time? They say that there is no time. So we seem to be speaking about some sort of matrix and some sort of database where everything is stored. So when we go into dreams, we go into entheogen experiences and near-death experiences, we're actually tapping into this data. And this is something very complex to understand, but if we try to understand and then we try to see the possibilities that this would offer in terms of experiencing and in terms of the very basic understanding of reality, we can see that we're getting closer to understanding what the whole mystery of life could be about. And it is very comforting to read the reports and to see that people are coming with these ideas that everything is love. Everything is it's some sort of a playground. It's some sort of a way for these, call it consciousness, call it universe, call it God, to have experiences and to create these avatars to have these experiences and to play, to create, to dream in the real world, in a sense. The fact that most of these dreams are meant for us to deal with trauma, to deal with the circumstances in our own lives, is something very comforting. But at the same time, it helps us understand what might be the core of reality. If you're on the path of finding the truth about reality and our purpose as humans on Earth, the information that I have to share concerns you. After a lifetime of research in philosophies ranging from Buddhism to the occult, I've encountered themes and patterns along some baffling information that is beginning to be seriously studied by science. A Rational Divine Outline, The Ghost of Jesus, is the first iteration of this project, where I analyze the message of Jesus without dogmatism, fanaticism, or religious bias. You can find my work available on Amazon on the link below. If you find this work valuable, consider subscribing, sharing, and following me on social media, as it'll help others in the same path to find this information. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.